Yo, 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 yo. Okay, it's working now. Hello! I made a mistake there. How are you guys doing this morning? Happy to have all of you here. I see Grayskull, Zach Castro, Jenkins, Braveheart, Stakepool, Romero, Wired Face. Happy to have you guys all here. We have some awesome announcements to make. Sundae Swap released a great article yesterday that is providing a lot of education. Sundae Swap is a DEX. It's coming to Cardano, invested in by C Fund. I've had Pi on the podcast now twice, and each time he has taught me a lot. And stating that, I want to have a couple, prefaces before we go into this real quick. But we see some more people joining the chat. Good day, damnation. Happy to have you, Zachy Z. Grayskull again. What is up, man? Cardano Mint. Hey, Pay. What's up, Michael Lesser? Happy to have you here. Thomas Hurd. Jake. Mostradamus. Great day. It is a great day. First AMA in a while. Excited. I'm excited as well. Yeah, the lighting does need improvement. My recent light just broke, and I'm going to get a different one. I'm going to get one of the yellow ones. I appreciate the suggestion, though. Giuseppe, all of you guys that are normally here are back in town. Happy to have you here today. Let me do a quick little refresh here. But what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the Sundae Labs presents the Scooper model. It was a great article released by Sundae Swap that really goes into a bunch of ways to solve some of the problems that people are running into when they're building DEXs on Cardano. What's very unique about Cardano is that it's extended UTXO. The only other blockchain that I know of that is extended UTXO is Nervos and Ergo. So Cardano's new, and the way that you develop these protocols is new, specifically using the language Plutus. Unless you're using the Milko Meta sidechain, you can write some solidity in there, but Cardano is new. Alonzo is new. Smart contracts are new. So all of these companies, these projects, these DEXs, they're looking for ways to solve these problems, right? I mean, this is true. This is science. It's research, and Sundae Swap presents a problem today, their solution to some of the problems they've been running into, and I'm excited to share all of their announcements with you today. We also have Pi watching. He's from Sundae Swap. He's who's I've had on the podcast a few times. And if there's any questions that I don't understand, I have him in DM. So he will help us out. So thank you so much for that, Pi. Shout out to Pi. But any questions that you guys have, we're going to be answering them. We're going to be talking about this article, and this could be the first DEX on Cardano. And we would also like to create a Bloom Sundae pool, but that's on you. We're going to be going over all of that information, when ISO, how to participate in the ISO, when Sundae Swap, when is the DEX. We're going to be going over all of that today. And also, we're going to be providing some information. But to preface all of this, I want to say that this is all new to me. I didn't spend years on Ethereum learning about DEXs or, liquidity protocols. This is all new to me. Cardano step by step has been a learning path for me. It started off first when Cardano was just a wallet, the Byron era. I learned about cryptocurrency. I learned about private keys. I learned, the core of crypto. Then fast forward to staking. Then I learned about Shelley and staking keys and decentralization through a method that's not proof of work, that is proof of stake. And then fast forward to the Mary hard fork. Then I learned about NFTs. Well, Alonzo just came out, and I'm someone who really learns by doing and speaking with people. And I want to preface that I don't know everything, right? As more information comes out, as I learn about these protocols, I will provide this information back to you guys. But all of this is new to me. DEXs are new to me. Everything that we're going to be reading about today, it's all new to me. So let's learn about all of this together. And I would like to present you guys all of this information. But let me get to the chat real quick. Let a few more people join in. If you guys could, there's 83 concurrent viewers here. Click that like button. YouTube's mad at me. I haven't done an AMA in 2 weeks. I haven't been uploading too many videos, so YouTube hates me. And what we have to do is we have to prove YouTube wrong. Like the video. If you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button, notification bell all. If you're not watching it live, comment down below. It really helps us in the algorithm. It also gets, more content that's not about pumping ADA out into the ethos. Then we'll have people coming in that's not like, oh, ADA to a million. But also, no financial advice. All of these protocols are new. Sundae Swap is a new protocol, and anything can happen. So be careful when you're investing in anything, and be careful using these new protocols as they come out. Stating that, I'm very excited about Sundae Swap, and I really appreciate them taking the time to write this article and give us all of this information, because we can all learn together. Farah when Bloom Sundae Pool. We're going to get to that in just a second, Farah. Very excited to announce that. It's cold in Florida, Pimp and Pay. It is a little chilly this morning. I was going to go fishing, but it was real rainy. But let's jump into it. Let me pull the article up real quick, and we can get saucy. Hold on. Let me answer a couple questions, and then we'll go into this. So, hi from South Africa. What's up, Daniel? Jesse says, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Jeremy, say it. I approve of Sundae Swap. I do. I like Sundae Swap, man. I do. But stating that, it's still new. There's risks in everything. There's risks in going outside in the morning. There's risks in driving your car. Look, Pie's in the chat. What's up, man? What's up, man? I heard about you when I was at the Cardano Summit in Miami. A couple of guys were talking about you. My wife got one of your shirts. Oh, that's awesome to hear you got one of our shirts down there, Joshua. Yeah, we sent some shirts to a Bloom delegate. Thank you so much to her for doing that, but she gave out a bunch of shirts at the Miami meetup. We felt that it was pretty important to give away some shirts in Florida because that's where we're located at. And also do an announcement about Bloom because we're still waiting for more people to join. If you guys could share this, I would really appreciate it. The more the merrier. The more questions, the better. The better questions, the better AMA we have. Super hype for Bloom Sundae Pool. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. But Bloom has got an office. We're moving into an office. We're setting up shop here in Florida, and we're going to be a Florida Cardano blockchain company, and we're working on a lot to add value, not just to our delegates, but the Cardano blockchain in general, and I'm very excited to share some of those details with you, maybe a little bit later today, but let's go into the meat of the discussion. We got 92 viewers here, so there's enough people here. Let's get started. We got 51 likes. I appreciate that, everybody. It means the world. Will regular Bloom pools still exist with the Bloom Sundae pool, or is there a difference? Great question, Jake. I really appreciate that. Regular Bloom pools will still exist, and they still earn Bloom tokens, which we're working on a site for you to come and claim those. And you might be asking yourself, why? Why haven't I got this site? You've been promising Bloom tokens in the site since really February or March. Why is that? It's because it's complicated and we want to do it right. Smart contracts were just released. We don't have a PAB. And when we release these Bloom tokens, when we release this site, we don't want it to be half-assed. We don't want some one web page that's static where you come and claim them. We want to build an experience for you guys. We want to offer the best staking services on the Cardano blockchain. And the only way we can do that is if we take our time and work with the best. And that's what we're doing. So I apologize about the delay, but it will all pay off in the end. We're following the Cardano model of make things work first instead of move fast and break things like Ethereum. So again, I apologize, but great things are in the background and I'm very excited about them. Northport, Florida here. Hell yeah. What do you think would generate the most Sundae tokens, staking or just buying? Amy, that's a great question. Sometimes it is, you can just get more tokens from buying. I've noticed that a lot, specifically with, I think it was Singularity Net. They were giving out like SDAO tokens for those that hold AGIX. And I was sitting there like, man, I don't really earn much from this at all. I could just go buy the SDAO. So that could be the case. That could be the case. Germany here. Hello from Florida, man. Happy to have you. Happy to have you. All right, so let's get on to the article. What we're all ready for, ladies and gentlemen. So I would recommend reading this article yourself. It goes into multiple different solutions to some of the problems and also talks about the errors and why those can't be done on Cardano or why they're not choosing that route. And remember, this is coming from a DEX that's coming from Sundae Swap, so keep that in mind as you look at biases. But, the way that I read this article, it really does seem to just trying to be providing information, but stating that, we all know how it is. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I essentially went through, I got a printer now, ladies and gentlemen. We're very serious around here. Look at that. Whew. I have taken notes, and we're not going to read through all of it, but I want to read through some of the important parts. I know you guys hate when I just read the articles, but we're going to read a small bit and then I'm going to summarize it for everybody. But I picked out all of the important bits that you must know about. Sundae Swap Labs presents the Scooper model. Much ink has been spilled in the recent weeks about scalability on Cardano. We wrote an article. So why is this important? Real quick, we don't have a DEX on Cardano. And Cardano is a network of tokens, right? It's a protocol. And as long as your token is following the protocol rules, you can mint it. And when you mint these tokens, there's really no way to trade these tokens. Right now, if you get on Binance or you get on Coinbase, they don't offer native tokens. You can't just buy them and withdraw them into your wallet. So while the, essentially the big guys in cryptocurrency, won't accept native tokens yet, they will, I promise. We can do it ourselves, with Sundae Swap or Occam or anyone else, that builds something on Cardano that allows us to swap two tokens in a decentralized way. I've seen it on token.io right now. I'm not sure if it's decentralized. They're using smart contracts yet now, but you can actually trade other tokens on there. So let's say you had some Sundae tokens. You can actually use those and bundle them up together for NFT transactions. So shout out to token.io. But yeah, that's really the first instance of that. But this Sundae Swap will give us the ability to trade these assets, whether it be Ergo or ADA or World Mobile Token or Occam or what other coins you guys are into, right? So much ink has been spilled in the recent weeks about scalability on Cardano. We wrote an article about trade-offs IOG had made affecting scalability. And also, if you guys have any questions, Pi is in the chat. He's watching this right now. So if there's any general questions while I'm reading this, feel free to ask him, because I'm sure I can check my DMs and we'll have some answers from him so we can go over those. And then I'm also going to answer your guys' questions after we're done with the article. Much ink has been spilled in the recent weeks about scalability on Cardano. We wrote an article about the trade-offs IOG has made affecting scalability, and several projects have posted their architectural solutions to offset some of these trade-offs. Now, as Sundae Swap is approaching its public testnet and subsequent launch, we thought that now would be a good time to crack open the hood on our protocol architecture and the journey we took to get there. I really hope we don't get the word permeate in this article. It will stop me once again. We evaluated a number of solutions in depth, and some of these bear resemblance to those being discussed elsewhere in the Cardano ecosystem. While each protocol has their own set of criteria and trade-offs that they choose to prioritize, we concluded that many approaches had at least one serious flaw that ultimately caused us to reject them. Since it would be difficult and uninteresting to give each of these proposed solutions the same depth of treatment as our internal evaluation, the first section of this article will provide a 50,000-foot view of the solutions and criteria we use to evaluate them. Subsequent sections will briefly describe how each protocol is intended to work, plus what we consider the fatal flaws to be that disqualify the solution for the Sundae Swap protocol. Finally, we will spend the remainder of this article discussing the solution we did settle on, plus some hints for future ongoing research to extend the protocol. So what is he saying? Earlier, I mentioned that, Cardano and Extended UTXO and Plutus, all of this is new. So you can't just do a clone of many of these protocols. You have to actually think about how I should do this in a different way. And essentially what they've done in this article is they've taken all of those different routes of building this and pointed out some flaws they feel that they've found. But remember, all of this information is not coming from me. It's coming from Sundae Swap. And this is the general overview, and I promise it will be interesting. It will be interesting. We're not going to be reading the whole article, but I do recommend it. The Sundae Swap team has invested an incredible amount of effort evaluating different solutions, as mentioned. It would take far too long to describe each deliberation in detail, but we wanted to at least provide a high-level feature matrix, which we're going to be looking at in a second, that came out of our evaluations, a non-exhaustive list of names we gave up internally as the top solutions are. Uniswap clone. Uniswap is a DEX on Ethereum. It works. It works great. And Uniswap is pretty awesome. Same with SushiSwap. A direct port of Uniswap's logic to Cardano is described in our white paper. Open batching. Allow anyone to aggregate requests for swaps against a pool. Tokenized escrow, issue state channels tokens to prevent market censorship. If you're just tuning in, I want to say thank you. I'd appreciate it if you click that like button. Also, we're going to be talking about Win ISO and answering Sundae Swap questions and also Cardano questions in just a bit. We're going through the meat of this article right now, but thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I want to get to your questions. Mixed Extro, a hybrid of state channel tokens for guaranteed order flow and open orders for scalability. And this is when we start to get into the weed, folks. State channels, especially a hybrid of them, is pretty complicated. Programmable order book, full order book model with programmable criteria. So that's a good one. That's a good one to ask Pi. Pi from Sundae Swap is watching this right now. Can you explain, this idea of a state channel and then also a hybrid of state channels? My understanding that it's side chains, but again, I'm still learning here. Ultimately, we decided on a solution that we're calling governed scoopers. And this is what we're going to be talking about later. Bloom, my stake pool is actually applied to be a governed scooper. And we would also like to participate in the ISO. And we're going to give you the details about that, which is discussed in the last section of this article. We evaluated each of the foregoing solution options against at least the following criteria. And these are all of the things that, are important for DEXs. And we're actually going to get a visualization of this in just a second. Scalability. Contention. And scalability is simple. How many users, how many transactions per second can it support? Contention. How often does a user have to resubmit their transaction? That's important. On Ethereum right now, you can have failed transactions, and if the fee's $100, it's pretty rough. You know how mad I would be if I had a $100 or $200 transaction and it failed? It's never actually happened to me before, but I've talked to many people on Ethereum that have had that problem. Decentralization. How robust is the protocol against being halted by a single party? You guys know that. Denial of service. How robust is the protocol against denial of service attacks? So that's essentially, it gives some party the ability to deny your swap. Volume independence. How much volume does the protocol need to be useful? Development effort. How much of the effort is to implement? How much surface area needs to be audited? That's very important. It's hard to find good auditors out there nowadays. Cardano's so new. So here's how each design stacked up. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Sorry if you guys couldn't read that. I know YouTube makes it seem like you have bad eyes. So Uniswap, scalability, bad. Contention, bad. MEV, which is the minor extractable value. How vulnerable is the protocol to market manipulation? That is very important. So it seems like decentralization and MEV are really good with that, but specifically scalability and contention are bad. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but I also want to look at governed scoopers, And there's one important thing to note here, right? And I appreciate this honesty. I really do. And it's little things like these that really make me have a bit more faith, in the people behind Sundae Swap. I've actually met many of them in person. Great guys. It was nice meeting you guys. But governed scoopers, scalability, smiley face. So it's scalable. And we're actually going to be going into some of those details in a second. That's the next part that we're jumping to is their solution. Instead of going through each of these solutions, we're just going to jump right to theirs, talk about how it works, and talk about how I would like to be a part of it. So contention. Very good. Very happy face about that. MEV, very happy face with that too. But here is the thing I was talking about, decentralization. It's instead of that's them being honest. That's them being honest. They're saying that there is room to improve. And I like that. But this is a new blockchain. They're building a new protocol on top of Cardano. It makes sense that everything isn't perfect out the gate. Let's be honest here. Denial of service. Volume independence. Development effort. Not a frowny face for that one, which is good. So hopefully we hit that November release that we're all looking for. To keep you guys interested and excited, before we go on to the next part that I'm going to read, I want to say hi to everybody. See how the chat's doing. So there's 134 concurrent viewers here. Thank you guys so much. I'm gone for 2 weeks and you still show me this love. I appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying it so far, click that like button. I'll answer a few questions and we'll get right back to the article. When we get Sundae from Bloom 6, Bob, I'm really sorry, but from my understanding, you can't earn Sundae from traditional pools. You have to create a new one. If that changes, I will let you know. But you can always switch over, and then when you do switch, if we do get a Bloom Sundae pool, we'll still make sure you earn Bloom tokens over there as well. We'll double up, triple up. You get ADA, Bloom tokens, and Sundae. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? How about that? Will Sundae Swap require pools to run additional pools, or will they be tied to existing pools? From my understanding, it'll be a new pool that you have to create. Where can I buy Sundae tokens? They're not out yet. When the project comes out, pay? For sure. Or when does it? Is that what you're asking? It's supposed to come out tentatively in later November, which I hope so. That'd be so awesome. We will be doing a swap video if that's the case. So question for Pi. We'll get to that later. I was driving down the road yesterday and a guy on a motorcycle had a Bloom t-shirt on. Fuck yeah, dude. That's so cool. What are the odds that that caught up and talked? That's so cool, man. That's so cool. I'm so happy to hear that, Jonathan. I was thinking about that. So we showed up at the Wyoming event, and we probably had 200 to 400 pieces of merch that we were giving away to people. You know, we wanted to essentially set up a booth there. They weren't allowing booths, but we still brought those in there, and everyone swarmed us. And I was telling my mom about that on the phone the other day. I'm like, you know what makes me really happy? There are 400 people all over this country with the Bloom logo on their back. I'm like, that's so cool, man. That's so cool. What's up, Big Pay? Thanks for everything. Hey, thank you so much for coming by today, man. I really appreciate it. We're going to be jumping in the article just a second. I do want to have some interaction here. Got to keep things interesting. Are APIs to interact with the DEX planned? I would almost guarantee yes. You know, I would almost guarantee that. Ada Bloom and Sunday. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We're also, I would like to do some NFTs. I haven't ran this by Pi yet, but we want to do free NFTs to the first 25 people that delegate to Bloom Sunday. I would like to do some sort of collab with their artist. I still have to ask them. If not, we'll give you guys something cool. You'll definitely get some NFTs for the first people that delegate. Pay, how much Sunday do you think people will earn for staking? We don't have that information yet, Michael, but I appreciate the question. Hey, Pay, how can we get into Sunday's earliest? I'm thinking the end of the month, man. I'm thinking the end of the month, but if you subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell and click all, I will provide you the Sundae Swap information that you need. And that really is my value add back, right? Why am I running this Sundae pool? Why should you vote for me to run this pool? It's because I'm going to educate you guys on what's to come with Sundae Swap and also give you tutorials and guides on how to use Sundae Swap and also the information behind it like we're doing today. But back to the article. I appreciate all the questions. Sorry if I missed yours. We'll get to them in just a second. Also, 156 concurrent viewers. God damn, thank you guys. Appreciate that. All right, back to the Sundae Swap article. Okay, we went over our happy and our sad, you know, about the different ways of doing this. You know, here are all of the ways they mention. Uniswap, programmable order book, open batching, escrow tokens, mixed escrows. They go into details into all of these. I would recommend reading them if you'd like to learn more, if you're trying to educate yourself about DEXs and really where people are at in this space on Cardano. You know, how do we build these DEXs? I recommend reading this whole article. I probably will talk more about this in the future, but right now with all of the information that I've gathered, it really takes me like a week to fully understand something, you know, so I don't want to go through all of these without that full understanding. But let's go through, and we read through almost every part. Okay, I wanted to read the rejected solutions as well. I essentially already said that. This section of the protocol is just going over the solutions that were rejected, and you can scroll down through here and read all of these rejected solutions. But to make things interesting, this is a long article. I think I got 19 pages here. We're going to jump right to their solution, the scooper model. If you want to look at other ways people are thinking about solving this same problem, just read the article. The link's down below. Let me make sure it is before I lie to your face. It is. The link is down below. I'm not a degenerate today, ladies and gentlemen. But all right, let me scroll back down to... Okay, the scooper model. And this is their solution. This is how the DEX will work. Finally, we've come to a solution that we have chosen to go with for our launch. We believe that it preserves many of the positive properties of the order book discussed above, without compromising on some of the criteria we believe to be critical to an early leading DEX on the Cardano blockchain. Internally, we have been calling this solution the Scooper Model / AMM order book. It stems from the same insight that underpins proof-of-stake protocols. By aligning incentives and creating systems of self-governance, you can scale by building trust into the protocol. Very interesting. I should probably read it on here so I don't over-scroll. Like a pure order book, market participants can place good until canceled orders on the blockchain. These don't require interacting with any pre-existing entities and don't suffer from the UTXO contention problems in the other protocols' designs. Using a programmable API. There's the answer to your API question right there. These orders can be tailored to the market participants' desires. However, unlike a pure order book, the liquidity pool can rely on the orderly and the efficient execution of swaps enabled by the automated market maker. So the scooper, the automated market maker, allows swaps. Similar to protocols described above, we rely on a third-party aggregator. It's worth spending a moment recalling some of the properties of these third-party aggregators, as this article is fairly long, agreed. Internally, as a company that loves the theme, we've been calling these actors scoopers. A scooper builds and submits transactions which execute many swaps against the automated market maker and in return collects a small ADA fee, right? So essentially, if you think about a stake pool, right? We have stake pools all over the world. And let's think about practically what is a stake pool. Stake pools use a software called Cardano-Node. And what they do is they collect files, they build, essentially a Linux system that has everything you need. They build all the dependencies. That's the word that I was looking for. And then you run a command. Cardano-Node start. You reference the topology, the blockchain, the genesis. And once you reference all of those, you start a node because you're following the protocol. And then now you're caught up with everybody else. You're going block to block, slot to slot. And that's what they're doing here. It's another software that stake pool operators or anybody else can run on their Linux machine that will take, these swaps. They will scoop up, these swaps and then put it all into one transaction to essentially allow it to be much more efficient. Right. And then they're picking a bunch of different scoopers or stake pools or, people that are running servers for them. And that's what gives it decentralization, because if it was just them, if they were the only person that was doing the scooping and putting the transaction in, that's still centralized. Right. But, incentives are important. They even reference it right here. Right. They reference that using an incentive-based model like the Cardano blockchain. Right. So they're relying on incentives to keep the decentralization and also to keep good actors. However, if you can establish a limited amount of trust in the aggregators, many of the challenges in each of the above protocols disappear. So there has to be faith in the aggregators, and giving them a fat paycheck is definitely a good way to do that. If you can trust your aggregators to consistently and fairly choose which orders to include, you no longer need escrow tokens, for example. You can focus on that contentionless on-ramp and on-protocol composability. So how do we ensure that scoopers are honest? The first step is choosing trusted members of the community to run them. Cardano is blessed in that we already have a diverse set of participants with reputation and pedigree for this. Thus, we will select stake pools to partner for our ISO with the help of the community, and we'll also be selecting stake pools to run the scoopers. Later today, we'll be sending out a sign-up form for stake pool operators to apply to be a part of the ISO to run the Sundae Swap scooper. After filtering this list based on some of the simple criteria like social media presence and experience, we will turn things over to you, our community. We will host a week-long vote to choose the initial set of scoopers. So it will be a decentralized vote or a centralized vote coming from Sundae Swap to choose the set of scoopers. And here, I would like to announce my running to be a scooper. I really like Sundae Swap. Pi has taught me a lot, and I really do think that they have the highest probability to be the first DEX on Cardano. And I will provide value back. I will. And I will do that through the education videos that I mentioned earlier, how to use Sundae Swap, news updates about Sundae Swap. I will include all of those in my weekly recap, and I will give back to the community the same way the scooper will give back to Bloom. So any value add that you think I can do, feel free to let me know. Put it in the suggestions on the Discord server down below. But yeah, I would like to run the scooper and also have an ISO pool. So if you guys voted for me, I would really appreciate that. I will provide value back at launch. The Sundae Swap DEX will assign a 30-day scooper license. Got to get my scoop license to the stake pool operators above, which can be used to construct and aggregate swaps from the Sundae Swap community. Each time they do this, ADA transaction fees are locked up in a script. Smart contract, ladies and gentlemen. After some period of time, those scoopers must renew those licenses. Got to go back to the Sunday tax collector, claiming the transaction fees on the way. However, government decides via a vote that one of these scoopers is a bad actor, I'm not providing the value that I just promised, that license can be revoked and the ADA transaction fees will be routed by the protocol to the treasury instead. I almost said routed. For example, someone can run a reference implementation of the order selection algorithm, publishing the results on IPFS, Interplanetary File System, for everyone to see. It's possible for strange network conditions to create small deviations among scoopers, but if a scooper consistently and dramatically deviates from this, a vote can be called to revoke their license and deny them both the ADA transaction fees and access to the market. I also thought of another reason to vote for me as a scooper. I will participate in the testnet, and I will work with Sundae Swap to work out any kinks or any bugs, and I would like to make the DEX better in any way that I can. I will be in that beta, and I will give you guys updates. And I missed that last sentence. The market that would have been motivated the bad actors in the first place. Access to the market. In this way, assuming that the collected ADA rewards are material, the scooper is highly incentive to remain honest to claim those rewards. If collected ADA rewards are small, then the market is thinly traded, and the amount of value that they can extract of the market is also too small to rationally justify the effort needed to act badly. Over time, we see the DAO as upgrading this system with more dynamic election structures, where the Sundae token serves as a similar role to ADA in selecting, thereafter rewarding, or punishing the set of aggravators. So they're saying the Sundae token. What's the ticker for that? Is it Sunday or is it day? Is it sun? This will need to be done with care, as that growth is aligned with the growth of our protocol. So I wanted to scroll through some of the benchmarks here, and then also, what time are we at? Damn, 11:45 already. Heck, gotta hurry up. So they checked out Uniswap v3 to compare against, and we're looking at 24,000 transactions, 27,000 transactions, and 28,000 transactions in 3 days. It works out to an average of 26, or roughly 18.66 of the top transactions per minute. They were also advertising 100 TXs in a day, so the throughput could be closer to 70 transactions per minute. Given our focus on building the DEX, this was a sufficient approximation for us, so we didn't dig deeper to get exact numbers, which is fair. So let me see. I underlined the specific. I want to get those to you guys, but I think to cut some time, I want to skip a little bit. So yeah, the next paragraph is also important. To some extent, this is an apples to oranges comparison. We're comparing our peak theoretical throughput to their daily average, but the point is not to say that we have solved the problem Uniswap hasn't, considering the popularity of Uniswap and the relatively early stage of the journey. This comparison is to decide whether we have any chance of supporting a reasonable transaction throughput while we build for the next billion users and 100,000 transactions per second. And we feel that the results are very promising. That being said, please keep in mind that the results below represent ideal conditions. In low traffic test nets, the actual throughput will be less as we share network bandwidth with other DEXs, other protocols, and this reinforces how critical the race to layer 2 solution will be, and that's Hydra. Another layer 2 solution developed by the community. Our hope is that this solution serves the market's the needs today and creates a rich and thriving ecosystem and set the stage for the Sundae Swap protocol to play an even more central role as we scale to layer 2. We've conducted 2 primary tests that we want to share with you today. Both tests executed market operations as fast as possible and stopped after reaching 1,000 operations processed. The first was run on our private developer testnet as part of an ongoing discussion with IOG about transaction limits and protocol parameters. I mean, Sundae Swap is literally working with IOG on the testnet. We wanted to explore the impact at launch. Or nope, that's the same page. The impact of transaction size on protocols. To this end, we dramatically increased the block CPU and memory limits so that the limiting factor was the transaction size, and increased the limit size from 16 kilobyte to 18 kilobyte, and the transaction memory limit from 10 million units to 30 million units. With these parameters, we were able to execute all 1,000 swaps in 8 minutes for the average throughput of 120 swaps per minute. This is 170% of the 70 transactions per minute estimate for Uniswap above. So they're essentially stating that in the perfect environment, with these parameters increased, in 8 minutes they can operate 170% of the 70 transactions per minute estimated for the Uniswap. So, a couple notes here. You guys probably heard me say the transaction size limit from 16 to 18 kilobytes. That is actually a protocol parameter that has to be changed. And the transaction memory limit from 10 million units to 30 million units, I think that is also a mem limit protocol parameter, right? So those do have to be changed for this to work as mentioned, right? And then second, the IOG increased memory limits from 10 to 30 on the Alonzo Purple, which is a test net for Cardano right now. We ran the same load test there under some more pessimistic conditions. And we achieved an average throughput on 1,000 operations of 43 operations per minute, roughly 60% of our higher Uniswap estimate. This also gives some interesting insight into real-world performance and potential of the Cardano protocol. IOG has been understandably conservative about various transaction limits. However, comparing the current block sizes to the numbers cited in our research, it's possible that this block size can increase up to a factor of 32 times bigger than the current block size. We haven't run the test, but some napkin math places our maximum throughput under those conditions between 1,300 and 3,800 transactions per minute. Impressive for a layer 1 solution. I agree. And there's only one dimension where improvements can be had. It speaks exciting future for Cardano. Finally, the most beautiful thing about our protocol is that the end users face zero contention. Other than the times of extreme network congestion, it should also be extremely rare for the queuing. I'm sorry. It's easy to read off paper. Other than the times of extreme network congestion, it should be extremely rare for the queuing of an order to fail, something that makes it for a terrible user experience. Thus, even in times of extreme load, while the latency of our orders might increase, all users will continue, we're almost done, folks, to enjoy uninterrupted service. That's what I get for interrupting my service here. Given that we will likely have to share the network capacity with other protocols, the actual numbers at the time of peak congestion will likely be lower than this, especially when Claymates is doing a drop or Dead Pixel or something, or SpaceBuds. A Layer 1 DEX will serve as a key source of settlement liquidity to temper expectations. A Layer 1 DEX will, I already mentioned that, and will meet a very critical demand in the Cardano ecosystem early on in the bulk of retail traffic. However, ultimately gravitating towards a cheaper, faster, more scalable Layer 2 solution. So, hopefully this article gives you some useful insights into how we've been thinking about the design of our protocol and the careful measures we have been taking and continue to take a fairly and objectively weight of number of solutions. We're excited about the Sundae Swap DEX launch, me too, and confident in our protocol's ability to meet demands of the Cardano ecosystem. While we had a few intense weeks ahead of us, we're ready to give hard dates, or we're not ready to give hard dates or anything in particular just yet. Here's what we may have in store in the very near term. We will start the selection process for Stakepool operators by publishing a Google form to apply through. I've already filled that out for Bloom. If you emailed us previously, you'll need to apply using the form once it's available, but we'll send you a link. Update, apply, it's a link to the application. Our public testnet will begin. Once this is up, I will be participating in this. You will be able to see our scaling solution in action, as well as help stress test the protocol, find bugs that went unnoticed, and be among the first users of Sundae Swap. Our audit will conclude, and we will address any feedback that they had provided. So, their audit, which is auditing the code. You got to make sure that the DEX is good. And you want to have other people look at that, to find your mistakes. We will launch our mainnet protocol, and alongside with it, the ISO. So the ISO is going to be coming at the same time as the release of the DEX. We'll be keeping the beta label while we bootstrap the DAO up until we've had our first successful community vote. In the few short weeks, we'll be ready to show off what we've been building over these past few months, and we hope you're excited as we are. I am. Back to the chat. It's 11:53. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you guys all haven't left. But how are you guys doing today? The AMA has begun. Do you guys have any questions for me? Let me look at my chat with Old Pie real quick as well. He's probably just been in the chat answering questions, hasn't he? Hello, bro. What's your money for Crow? What are you talking about, man? If Sundae Swap chooses the SPO's scoopers for agents of their DEX, how safe is the DEX operation if hackers find and target the SPO servers? Well, stating that, if that would kind of be an issue of Cardano as well, right? That's why it's important to over time build up more scoopers, because you could say that about Cardano right now. If Cardano goes with proof of stake instead of proof of work, then what would happen if they just attacked me? I actually read this MEV article, and one of the things that they stated that you can use to attack SPOs is coercion. And they even listed, I wish I could find that article. It was something. But it was essentially stating that, one thing that we have to look out for our SPOs is coercion through sexual acts. That was listed in the article. And if that's a problem for Cardano, it will definitely be a problem for Sundae Swap as well. So I got to be looking out. Any relations I have with anyone, I got to be very careful. They could be an undercover stake pool operator trying to attack the net, or an ETH maxi trying to attack the network. I don't mean a DDoS attack, for example, but cutting the electricity or internet, or a couple SPOs who are so I think they're going to select more than a couple Zaha, and I think that's going to expand over time as they build up this governance system. Shouldn't Sundae Swap design a way to form consensus between scoopers and design a way to... Yeah, there will be. That's a great question. That's a good question for Pi. But also, if you guys are just tuning in, I want to say thank you so much. There's 130 likes here. If you guys have any questions, this is a Cardano AMA. I try to do these once every week. I've been slacking lately because of everything I've been working on. But if you guys are enjoying this, please click the like button. We also give free Bloom tokens away every week in our Discord server. It's discord.gg/bigpay. The link for that will be down below. You guys just have to join the Discord server to get the Bloom token giveaway, which I'll start it after this AMA. When Bloom Sundae Pool, they stated that the ISO will start as soon as the DEX is launched. So I will be up all night working on that if I have to, but I will release the Bloom Sundae Pool the second that I can and the second that the DEX is up. And if you want more information on how to participate in the ISO, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, and click all, and I will give you those updates. That is my value add back to Sundae Swap for allowing me, or you guys voting for me to be a scooper or an ISO pool. I will be keeping you guys up to date and educating you through my YouTube channel, Twitter, and Discord. Do you have a video on how to become a stake pool operator for Cardano? I have one from very long ago, about a year ago, but it's a bit outdated now. Will there be a new Bloom pool to earn Sundae Swap tokens? Yes. Yes, there will be. Unless they change it last minute. Will you be upset if I move my delegation from Bloom 3 to Bloom Sundae? I will not. I will not, Toucan. And we will make sure that from a Bloom perspective, because the ISO is limited, right? And what we've been working on is a pretty awesome site. And you will be able to select any of our pools. You'll be able to earn Bloom tokens. You're going to see minute by minute, that Bloom token amount that you're earning be updated. And we will make sure that all of the offerings that we're going to be offering through the Bloom site and the Bloom DApp, we will not require, or we will not require you to lose anything from swapping to another pool. So very important that we mention that. Pay, how much Sundae do you think people will get for staking? I'm guessing it's probably going to be based on the amount that you stake, but I'm not very sure. Their goal, in my opinion, is to probably, get these tokens out there to a lot of people, right? B. Conley said, "What's up, Big Pay? Thanks for everything. Hey, thank you for coming by, man. If you guys have any questions, let me know. The AMA has begun. The AMA has begun. Sending you a virtual espresso, Pay. Thank you. Thank you. I had some espresso before this, so you guys can't tell." Pi, his name is Quantumplation. He states, and this is in response to consensus between scoopers. He's essentially saying, wouldn't there be some, you need to have some level of consensus between all the scoopers to prevent bad actors? His response to that is, that's what the Cardano blockchain is for, right? All of the Cardano nodes have consensus with each other. And then to use Sundae Swap, you will have to submit a transaction to the nodes that all have the consensus, if that makes sense. James said, "Awesome. Keep up the great work, Pay." Hey, thank you so much, James. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming by today. But yeah, I'm excited for the workload to come down a little bit on the back end, so we can do some more videos and have consistent uploads. And I really think that we're getting to that point soon. We also have a clip channel too that I wanted to mention to you guys, and keep the questions coming. Anything Cardano, anything Stakepool, anything Sundae Swap, anything mycelial gallery, just let me know and I'll answer your question. But I have been working on a new channel, and it's actually it's a clip channel, right? So this AMA, for example, we're going to upload a clip on that second channel that is just the Sundae Swap portion of this, right? And then we're going to be taking clips from, Ben Gortzel podcast, the Charles podcast, because not everyone can tune in to something that's this long, but stating that the clip channel is very new and it needs some love. So if you guys could, there's the link in the chat. I'll also put the link down below, but if you guys could come to the clip channel, I'd really appreciate it, man. I gotta get this YouTube algo thing going again. I'm telling you, it's been really mad at me lately. You take a couple weeks off, they're like, who are you? Who are you? So Pi says, and this is an important thing to emphasize, and it sounds like he says scoopers. So, the people running the software on servers that are taking all the transactions and putting it into one, or all the swaps and putting it into one transaction. He's stating that they never have custody of your funds. They can't take funds from the swap, take funds from the protocol, or execute the swap in any other way than according to the parameters when you've listed the order. That makes sense. And that's good to hear, right? Because if there could be a bad actor, it's important to know that that bad actor can't just take funds from people, right? Because if they have custody, then they can take funds. What they can do unfairly is prioritize traffic, which is why we need the governance-controlled incentive mechanism. That makes sense, man. I really appreciate the answers here and stopping by today and all the help. All the education too, man. You even taught me a good bit in person, and I like that. I like being around people that educate me, man. It really means the world. So David Field says, this is not from a place of greed, I promise, lol. But how does Atala Prism equal value proposition? So it's a great question, David. So let's first ask, value proposition for whom, right? There's definitely a value proposition for IOG, right? Blatantly upfront, there's a value proposition for IOG. But personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, of course, IOG has a buttload of money, but a lot of people are kind of against that. They're like, oh, they shouldn't have it. Well, they created something that a lot of people use. I don't think there's any reason they shouldn't have that value, right? But where Atala Prism brings value to Cardano is the ability to have decentralized identity on the Cardano blockchain. And when you're going to nation states and you're stating, will you guys use Cardano? Will you guys use Cardano? Having Atala Prism and the research behind Atala Prism, and also working Atala Prism examples that they can show these governmental leaders is going to help you, right? And now let's also talk about, why I like Atala Prism. I really just like decentralized identity in general. Wyoming actually passed a law that states that you can do decentralized identities in Wyoming, pretty badass. But the reason I like it is because when we go to the pizza man, he asks for a lot of things, right? He asks for my name, my phone number, my address, everything about me. And what people don't know is that when people get, I bet a lot of people know this now, but some people don't. When they get all of that data, it's stored on a web server. And web servers are notoriously bad, or they're just hacked all the time. Capital One, banks all the time are hacked. My social security number has probably been leaked multiple times, and I'm young, and that's because servers by nature can be hacked. There's no way to 100% protect a server, right? So when you give all of this information to Papa John's down the road, Papa John's Pizza, what happens is all of that data, your name, your number, your address, everything sits on a server, and then your pizza is delivered. What Atala Prism can do, or any other decentralized identity on the blockchain, you have two keys, a public key and a signing key. The signing key is kept private, and the public key is what you can actually use to sign things. So when you're getting your pizza, you can sign something, and then when you sign it, it'll give them that data to just allow them to come to your house and deliver the pizza without storing it on a server. Of course, that's the perfect case. And of course, companies still want data to keep on their servers to sell to somebody else. But that's the value that I see in Atala Prism. But Cardano isn't IOGs anymore. IOG will start to make more money. I mean, how much money are they making every epoch just from the 3 billion ADA? IOG can't be the person that controls this protocol or works on the protocol anymore. There needs to be multiple companies that build the protocol, that build the core protocol, that add value to it. I would like Bloom to be one of those companies. It will take some time. But, I don't think there's anything wrong with them having their own private thing that they're using the blockchain that they built and then bringing governments and nation states on using Atala Prism, right? Hey, Pay, I have time to watch you live on my birthday. Here's my ADA wallet. It didn't post in chat, Bob, but I'll send you an NFT for your birthday, man. I appreciate you coming by. Happy birthday, brother. You're going to have to send it to me in the Discord. Yo, Big Pay, do you like or hold any Lion Legends? I do not. Will there be some kind of audit on the smart contract that will run the DEX? Yes, there's one already going on. Yep, Matt Hoge. Oh, yo. Hey, what's up, Matt? Appreciate you coming by, man. It was really nice meeting you in person. The audit is already underway and is being conducted by Runtime Verification, a preferred auditor for IOG. Yes, I've heard of Runtime Verification many times. Pi also responded the same thing. I recently had identity theft done with the use of all of my information. It was a pain in the ass. I was lucky to have identity theft insurance. That's awesome, man. I didn't even know identity theft insurance existed, and that's very sad to hear. For people watching this, if you're worried about that happening, if your social has been leaked, there is a way that you can actually lock your social security number so no one can, use it. And that's very helpful, especially if you have a house, you have a loan, you're not going to be applying for any credit cards soon. You can actually just lock your social security number so it can't be used. So that's one way to go about that. But I'm sure if you have like a driver's license, you can get away with even bad things without your number being locked. David Field says, not at all. I agree, man. Wow, thanks for that. No problem, David. I really appreciate the question, man. And I don't have any problem with anyone asking any question that's negative about Cardano or IOG or Sundae Swap. I'm not really one to run from confrontation, but I appreciate the good question. Chris said, wow, a rare AMA has been spotted. Yeah, the shiny AMA, right? I'm a bit late, but I'm here. I appreciate you coming by, Chris. I'm going to be doing it more regularly. We've just been so busy building Bloom in the background. I actually recently just got my first house. I haven't moved in yet, but I've been dealing with all that, and it's terrible. We've also got an office for Bloom. We've been making some hires. We've been, training people. We've been working on a lot, and really, it's taken away from the YouTube channel. It has. But once things are more automated and we have our routines down and we're moved in, and I moved into my next house, we'll be good to go. So I apologize about that. But it was very fun today. I've enjoyed it a lot thus far. So I appreciate you guys all coming. Thoughts on Cardano IDO requiring ETH? This has been done for a while. At first, I was very against it. It's just an easy, so let's look at it from a business guy, right? You're just a business guy. You need to raise some funds to start building things on Cardano and you don't have any money. It kind of makes sense, because you're already using tools that are have already been built for the IDO. Whereas if you're trying to do it on Cardano, I don't know of any, launching platforms on Cardano that don't use ETH. I know Occam was using ETH in the beginning, and I gave that guy a real hard time because he kept saying that he was bringing value to ADA. He's bringing value to ADA when he's asking for ETH. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it as long as they're not like, we're bringing value to ADA, but it's like, dude, you're using ETH, so, it doesn't break a project, I don't think, but it's not like I'm going to, I'm not spending $100 on those transactions. That's for sure. I did though. I used ETH to buy SDAO, so it happens. Dan's Ada, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming by. Identity lock is essential. I agree. Yes, I didn't know about it until this. You can lock it all in the recording order. Yeah. Yeah, someone told me I was listening to a YouTube channel, and as soon as I heard that, I locked my number. I'm like, not getting me, ladies and gentlemen. Not happening. Any thoughts on other ADA projects like Cody or Nervous Bridge? So Cody is actually doing JED. It's either JED or DJED. I think it's JED. But I'm really excited for that. I think stable, and it's also interesting in the way that it works. And sorry about that, but I'm excited to see, how it plays out and how it works. I don't know enough about Cody. I wish I would have got some. I was looking at it when it was cheap, and of course we all like to make easy money if you find things early. But I missed that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting into Cody. I'm going to be looking into it more. It's become this prominent thing now, so I need to educate myself more on JED. And also, what Cody's working on and how this will actually work, this contract, this algorithm stablecoin. Nervos, I think bridges are going to be very useful in the future. I don't know enough about Nervos. I know it's extended UTXO, but specifically, I've been looking into ETH a lot lately, and I think, layer 2 and also bridges are going to do very well because, no financial advice, but there's always a chance for anything that, we're going to go to $10,000 ETH. Right? So all of these people that are in ETH or even average people that are just getting into crypto, they're going to be looking at these fees at $10,000. It can be anywhere from $100 to, $2,000 on any given day, any given market condition, right? So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to use layer 2 solutions and they're going to use bridge solutions to move to other chains, right? So if Nervos can offer an off-ramp between Ethereum to ADA or other chains to ADA or from ADA to other chains that are offering unique, things, I think that could be a good value proposition, because it seems like such an obvious play, right? Layer 2 ETH, Cardano, and also bridges, because as soon as ETH is 10K, which it very well could be, right? No financial advice. It could be one, those fees are going to be very expensive in terms of USD. Very bad. How long have we been going? 57? Hell yeah. I appreciate you guys all sticking with me today. Get some more questions. Check to Check Solutions. Thank you so much for your insight and knowledge that you provide. I've learned a lot about Cardano and blockchain as a whole. What are your thoughts on Clumsy Ghosts? I'm thinking that's probably an NFT project. I haven't heard of it, man, but I really appreciate you thanking me for that, man. I would like to provide some more insight and knowledge, and I would also like to learn more to give that back to you guys. That's what I was... When I came out here, and I really did try, that meant a lot to me. I'm really trying to preface with you guys, like, as we, learn this, we're learning it together, because I haven't built dexes, I'm new to this. I followed the Cardano path. I went from Bitcoin to Cardano and skipped Ethereum. I didn't watch this evolution that's happened over there. So, I'm learning all this for the first time, and I appreciate you guys bearing with me on that. Are we on a sleeping giant? Are we sleeping on a giant? Is this much larger than we realize? It's a great question, David. I personally believe so on a long-term timeline. On a 5-10 year timeline for sure. But if you're asking about the next 6 months, I don't know shit, man. Okay, Pay. So this Dish/Boost partnership, man. My friends keep trolling me, and unfortunately my IQ is not high enough to defend the incoming troll regarding Dish/Boost. Question is... Oh, so you're asking specifically about the Dish/Boost partnership. I apologize for splitting those things up. I don't know enough about it to give you that, but I think that, a Fortune 500 company partnering with any blockchain company, I think that's a big deal, right? And you got to realize how many partnerships has IOG made this year with governments, with Dish, with World Mobile, with Zanzibar, right? It doesn't matter if they don't like one partnership. It's a big deal. For a Fortune 500 company to partner with a blockchain company, that is a big deal. And stating that, you can't have one partnership taint a whole blockchain. So I think them kind of dogging on you for that is a bit unjustified and almost like uninformed, right? Because it's so obvious that it's just so obvious that it's like only one partnership, That's unfair considering ETH is required for most launch pads and ADA projects. CardStarter launched some really interesting projects and it provided liquidity for an ADA native token. Cough, cough. CardStarter at. One thing I've really noticed too, and I'm not talking shit to any of you guys, right? I get it. but how much everything has shifted. It's like you mentioned in Card Starter, or, Nervos, or what was the one mentioned earlier? The NFT projects, Clumsy Ghost and the Legion Legends, right? Because we have native assets on Cardano and projects, it's like, hey, YouTube man, advertise this shit for me. What do you think of it? Is it going to go to the fucking moon? It's just funny how that's shifted, Is Solana's hype and price increase justified? I am not a price man. I am not. I do believe in blockchain. I don't know enough about Solana to really make that decision. But there was a video of some billionaires talking about selling Cardano, or not Cardano, Solana, which I just thought was just so distasteful. But, on the opposite end of that, we have billionaires in Cardano too. Think about it. Charles, right? IOG. Also, I bet some of the early investors in Japan are billionaires. Same with the Cardano Foundation has over $1 billion in assets. Emergo has over $1 billion in assets unless they sold it. They're billionaires here too, but stating that, it was so funny just to watch this video. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. I can't find it, but I wanted to show you guys that. It's just funny. But stating that, it's not like we don't have that here too, right? David said, I'm okay. I'm moving my bag to Bloom. That is your pool, Bloom. Yep, we got Bloom through Bloom 6. We actually been in the 8th block on the Cardano blockchain. That's personally what I'm most proud of, that 8th block. We've been here from the beginning, and we'll be here till my end, because Bloom will live past us all, and so will Cardano. Solana is a very fine project, very good for gaming. Happy to hear it, man. I like gaming crypto and where it's heading. When launch, we're looking at the end of November for the launch. What are all those boxes in the corners? Those are GPU boxes for my mining rigs. I've been mining, old hobby of mine. You're so awesome, Pay. Thank you for all your videos. I appreciate that, Everton. You're pretty awesome too, man. But stating that, if you guys haven't already, the likes have passed the viewers. If you guys could, like, subscribe. Join the Discord server down below. It's discord.gg/bigpay. We're going to be giving away some Bloom tokens. People that win the giveaways are the first people ever to get the Bloom tokens in their ADA wallet. So it's a big deal. But I appreciate you guys all coming out. We're going to be uploading a lot of videos soon. Got a podcast on Monday with Frederick Regard. A lot of shit's happening in the background. Again, appreciate you guys. I'm excited for Bloom Sunday. Also the Sundae Swap launch. And also participating in the testnet and everything that's coming to Cardano. We really are building the foundations here. It's not just me, of course, but the community. The community is really building the foundations for the future on Cardano. And being here this long, you can kind of start to see where it started and also how it's like building. And I mean, especially with the video from Sebastian and Nico. This still is, we're still early. This still is the beginning. And I don't mean in terms of price. I just mean in terms of this ecosystem. It's really cool to watch it be built. I mean, it is. And that's what we're watching every day before our eyes. These new protocols and, it's awesome. But stating that, love you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll do a little shimmy so we know how to head out of here. But later, hope you have a good weekend.